Hello, I'm Chris Simmons and welcome back to The Size of Our Shoes. If you weren't fortunate enough to catch the first episode, follow the card and you can watch it there. But if you are familiar with this program, you know that it's dedicated to action, awareness, and advocacy regarding climate change. On today's episode, let's talk about life in our little green house. There are a few things we need to know to understand why global warming is happening. To start, let's make it clear that the greenhouse effect is natural. As you can see, when the sun's energy reaches the earth, some is absorbed by the land and sea, some is reflected back into space, and the rest is caught by greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, like carbon, methane, water vapor, and others. This energy warms the atmosphere and surface temperature. Without this natural greenhouse effect, we wouldn't even be here. Next, we need to understand that there are many cycles and exchanges that happen between the Earth and the air. One of these exchanges is called the carbon cycle. You see, the plants that cover our planet will suck up carbon from the atmosphere, then get eaten by animals, and eventually, through decomposition, that carbon gets released back into the atmosphere. Okay, so if this all happens naturally, then what's the problem? Okay, left side me. That's a solid question. I see you. The problem started when we began burning fossil fuels to create energy. Fossil fuels like oil, coal, and natural gas are fossils from a distant past, relics of organic material from a much more carbon-rich atmosphere. By burning these ancient remains, we release carbon into the atmosphere that hasn't been there for millions of years. It's like this.
The cup's full. Stop, it's full.
The result? More heat. January 2020 was 2 degrees higher than the 20th century average. A warming planet leads to sea level rise, melting ice caps, droughts, fires. Ring any bells? Warmer air also holds more moisture, so storms are getting worse and worse. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change predicts an 80% increase in the number of Category 4 and 5 hurricanes that we'll experience by the end of the century. Now, what can we do to make a difference? It may seem impossible, but the most important thing that any of us can do is, are you listening? Something. Make small changes or minor actions. The more we do to affect our carbon footprint, the more we think about our carbon footprint. So I'm working toward a sustainable bathroom, waste-free grocery trips, energy-efficient lighting. Am I making a huge difference by doing these things? I'm making a little bit of a difference. But the most important part is I'm thinking about my carbon footprint like 4 or 5 times a day. And that's what we need. As a society, we need to be aware and thoughtful of our effect on the world. We need millions of people thinking about their carbon footprint on a daily basis. And by doing that, we become a society of eco-minded people. That's when the companies start to change. That's when the industries start to change. It starts from the bottom. It starts with us. Thank you all so much for joining me on today's episode. Please, in the comments, let me know what the most interesting thing was that you learned. For me, it was the carbon cycle. I thought that was wild and really helped my understanding of why the greenhouse effect works the way it works. As always, like, subscribe, and share, and until next time, be well.